to see some of our piles. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for joining. Today, we are talking about the backstage production process on Whatnot. Will you go grab your phone and my iPad off the counter in there? Oh, you've
Yes.
got your phone. I need the iPad. No, the
Yes.
other, your iPhone and the iPad.
Yes, Master.
All right. So please read the show notes. And in the show notes, it just tells you if you have questions or comments, put them in with a question mark so they show up in bold so that we can see them more obviously. And I'm gonna mod a couple of people. Let's see who's in here. Cheap Girl is in. Do you mind modding while you're here? If you can't stay, no worries. Just so we have a couple of people monitoring chat. Let's see who else is here. Welcome in. Let's see who else is going to know how to mod. Anyone want to mod? Burner is here. Let's mod you. And you're modded. Okay. So I've got a couple of you modded just so I can have some people. Yeah, I just modded you so I can have some people monitor chat for us. Okay. So I've added a new document into my auction tab. If you've been with me in these seller chats before, I always have documents in the auction tab, and I created a brand new one, and I'm going to pin it. It is called, let's see, it is called, where did it go? I know it's here. I just checked it. Well, actually, I have two new ones, but this one I'll pin really quick. You probably already have this one, the envelope shipping guide, but I redid it, so it's a lot nicer. So the one that I just pinned, get a screenshot of that one at some point during the show. New updated envelope shipping guide, just easier to read, kind of bulleted out so that it's a lot nicer to look at. All right, and then let's do this other one. Sorry, I'm having a hard time seeing it on my computer, so let me do it on the mobile. Okay, so on mobile, the new document that I have is called Show Production Checklist. Whatnot Show Preparation Checklist. There we go. All right, so I just pinned that one. We're going to go through this. It's a 2-page, 3-section document, and it talks about it's just a checklist that you can use to go through to make sure you kind of have made sure everything's in place when you're new to um, Whatnot at selling, to make sure you have everything all ready to go for your shows. So the first section on here is the pre-show checklist. So if that item that's pinned, just click it again, and it will bring up that document and screenshot the 2 pages. Scroll over, there's a second page. And I made it in a way so it's just little bullets. You could even print this out and check them off if you wanted to. So, pre-show checklist. Oh, and in my show notes, there's also a list of sellers who contributed some kind of tip or comment or idea to help us during this show. And I'm going to be reading the things that they shared. But please go into the show notes and make sure you're following all of those sellers that are listed. They're clickable links in the show notes. And we'll be sharing their comments and things. And if you're one of those people and you're here in the audience, feel free to shout yourself out. But I will, of course, shout you out when, what am I trying to say? I will shout you out when I read your comment as well. So you'll get shouted out in that way as well. So, and I just modded you, Liz, who jumped in. All right. So that is what we're going to do. So we're first going to go through this checklist. So number 1 on the checklist is schedule shows well in advance and always have multiple shows scheduled so people can bookmark upcoming shows while you are live. That is my number one tip for almost everything I ever share, because really that's what the app is you've got to have shows, you've got to be seen. If you don't have shows on the schedule, you don't exist. Literally, you don't exist. So your pre-show checklist number one item is get shows scheduled in advance that people can start bookmarking, and have more than one always. Never have just one show on your profile, because once that show is over, or while you're having that show, if you don't have other shows for them to bookmark, you are missing out on those continued bookmarks and people being able to come back and find you again. All right, there's too many sellers now. If they don't bookmark you and mark stuff in your shop, you don't exist. How are they going to find you again? Nobody sits and writes down people's names. It just doesn't happen. So you've got to have stuff for them to bookmark. All right, I can't emphasize that enough. Number 2 on this list, ensure all your items are prepped.
Excuse me.
All your items are prepped, cleaned, listed, and priced to either sell in the listing, or you have, you know what you're going to sell it at when you run it if it's just a random pull. So get your inventory ready. Number 3, double check all your shipping settings in your main profile and in each individual show. If you're going to do anything out of the norm in a show, always double check all your shipping settings so that you don't have a mess when you have a show. So yeah, get your shipping settings set up. Number 4, show notes. Make sure your show notes are loaded and relevant for the show. Include anything like specials or coupons, or any other information that they might need for that show. Tell them in the show notes kind of the stuff you're going to be running, all the good stuff. Maybe I'm weird or out of the norm, but how many of you put a letter Y in chat, want shows to have show notes? I want to have show notes when I come into a show. It tells me a little bit about the seller. It tells me what they're going to be doing. It tells me if they have reduced shipping. It tells me if they have any coupons I can use. So I'm seeing lots of Ys. Show notes, you guys, do them, use them. And here's the tip about show notes. You just go on your phone and use the little, if you're using iPhone, just use your little app that's for notes. If you use Android, there's something else, I don't remember what it's called, and you just create your show note in a note, and then every time you have a show, you just open your notes, copy, paste. It's that easy, and then you can edit it as needed in the show notes. So have some show notes that you use regularly that you just copy and paste from the notes. Okay, or you can do that on your computer too. Open up Word and put your notes in Word, and then copy paste over into the show notes on the web version. Okay. All right. And then the next item on here is staging your setup, arranging your backdrop for your optimal viewing with the best camera angles and for what you sell. If you sell smaller things or things where people want to see it close up, then your setting just might be, the tabletop. If you sell clothing or larger items or vintage items where you need to be able to show the whole thing, then obviously your setup and your stage production is a whole different thing. Make sure it's optimal for what you, as a, put your buyer hat on. I go into shows sometimes and they're too close. They have a very closed view, and I won't buy anything because they won't back up and show me the big picture. I'm sorry, but I need to see what this is, how big it is, what, I want to see all sides of it, whatever. So make sure that you're giving them the optimal view of what you're selling so they're going to be willing to buy it. Have you had that happen where you've been in a show and you're like, I just don't see the whole thing. I'm not going to buy it. I can't tell what it is, how big it is, how it's going to work, etc. So optimal viewing is huge. And the next item on here is the lighting. So let's talk about lighting. I've got a couple of tips for you. I was fortunate because before we ever even started on selling on Whatnot, because I've been a reseller for quite a few years, I already owned studio lights. So we actually have a pair of these huge umbrella lights that we use. And they can be somewhat tricky because they light it up pretty bright. But if you don't, and those, I'm not saying go out and buy anything like that, but here's my tips. If you do daytime shows and you have any big windows in your showroom, have set it up so that it is either to the side, well, optimally to the side of you, and open it all the way. That will help brighten the room a lot. And then use these kind of bulbs. And I brought the box out so you can see. Go to Home Depot or Lowe's or Walmart, even probably has something similar to this. And you get these bulbs that are programmable, sort of. They have a switch on here, and you can go from soft white all the way to cool daylight. See the different things on there? Get the fixtures that you use in your showroom set with these kind of bulbs so that you can put it all the way to that daylight, or maybe the one that's there's daylight and then there's cool daylight. Cool daylight's probably best. It will make a huge difference in your lighting if you have overhead fixtures or lamps or other lights you use. Get these kind of light bulbs. And that's not an expensive get. You spend $20 or something and get a box of these and then use them over and over. And then when if you're using a lamp and it's annoying for the rest of the time of your life, you just go into that bulb and switch it down to the softer light. Okay. So yes, that's huge. And then you do need something else besides that usually. And I was just going to show you this. I don't even use this anymore. But when we first started selling on Whatnot, and we actually didn't show our faces. We did the tabletop thing. This I bought from that store that's called Five Below. $5. It's got a tripod and it has a little ring light, and you can position it, you can put it on top of a box, and it can just be over what you're showing. And it cost me $5, and it came with the little stand, and it also came with this little attachment right here that is flexible, and I use this on my regular tripod now. So for $5 I got all of that, and I still use the little flexible neck thing on my regular tripod. So you don't have to spend a lot of money to get a few things like this to get started. And then once you're doing better, you can invest more money in better things. So I just wanted to share that one too. And the light needs to be overhead, or it needs to be behind you, reflecting onto the items you're selling if you're not showing your face. You don't want it in front of you because then you get the glare, and it just is weird, especially if you wear glasses. Then everyone that comes into your show, you look like an alien because you have little rings around your eyes from your ring light. So it needs to be above or behind the stuff you're showing. Does that make sense? Okay. So, any questions about lighting? It needs to be consistent. So you need to make sure you don't have any weird, glitchy, flashing bulbs. It needs to be bright as possible and behind or in front, overhead, or I mean overhead. Okay, next item is audio. We just got a raid from Creative Treasures. Thank you for the raid. Can everyone please give Creative Treasures a follow? Someone tag her in chat, click her name, view profile, follow, and then bookmark her upcoming shows. And I normally share profiles, but we're doing this kind of scheduled seller chat. So thank you so much. All right. You are so welcome. Okay, so and I'm just anyone joining the item that is pinned on your screen. So the little auction item pinned on your screen is what I'm sharing. It is you just click it on your screen and then bring up the image and take a screenshot of it so that you can have that for future reference. Okay. Oh, let me see. I'm going to open this iPad so I have it ready to show to. All right. So let me get the show opened on the iPad as well. And I'm being a bad host because I should have had this ready. All right. So on your screen, so whatever device you're using, you just click the picture of the item I have pinned, click it again, and it brings it up big, and then you can just take a screenshot. So that's what I'm sharing right now is this checklist. Okay. All right. The next thing on here is audio. And audio, you need to just do whatever you need to do, but the main thing with audio is you need to ask your chat if they can hear you well enough and if it's clear.
What?
So if you don't ask your chat, you're never going to know. And I will say when you're new, have practice shows and have friends and family come in and do checks on lighting, audio, and view and camera angles and all of the things that we're talking about here. Do practice shows, go through this checklist with your family and friends before you go public live, and then you already know that those things have been, all right, I'm there. All right, so some people do use a microphone. If you are not close enough to your phone to have the audio pick up, then you do want to get some kind of Bluetooth mic or something that you can use so that your sound is coming through your phone good enough. You'll just have to try it out. Most of us who sell fabric and crafts are close enough to the phone that we don't need to have a microphone. I used one when we very first started selling and then quickly realized I didn't need it. So, just check that. All right, power. This is huge. How many of you've been in shows? Because Whatnot sucks the life out of all your devices. It takes a lot of bandwidth and a lot of power to run your devices. And so if you don't have them all plugged in during the whole show, it's going to be a problem. And some phones have the problem of overheating. You may have to get a new phone. I'm just going to tell you that. If you have a phone that heats up when it's plugged in and streaming for a long period of time, you may have to get a different phone. So look at reviews for that kind of stuff. Look, do a search on what phones are good for streaming. Obviously, iPhones work pretty good. I haven't had that problem with mine. Maybe older iPhones do.
So Sparrow has a question.
Yeah, what's your question?
It is, do you know if I do a practice show, if the algorithm will think it's my first show? I heard Whatnot likes to promote first shows.
I think if you do schedule it as a private show, it doesn't count as your first show. But does anyone know that for sure? Does anyone in chat had that experience and know? I'm pretty sure that if it's private, it's not even showing up. So how would they promote it anyway? Right. So I'm pretty sure that it's not going to be a problem. So Cheap Girl says I stream on my iPad and it doesn't heat up and freeze my phone to be able to read text for long shows. Yeah, there you go. That's a good tip. And get whatever devices work for you. I know some people have the camera as the streaming device, and then they've gotten some kind of stand. You can buy stands now that have a bigger holder that can hold a larger device like an iPad. So if you're visually impaired or like me, where I'm starting to go blind in my old age, you can put an iPad on and it's going to be a bigger screen for you and you can put it closer to where you can see it. So do things like that. So power, just make sure you have everything fully charged and then plugged in. Devices, basic setup for devices. Most people use a phone. A cell phone has the best camera, is the most portable, or maybe an iPad mini or a regular size iPad. And you go live from that device, the device you're going to use as the camera. And then you open the show on the other devices that you're going to use to monitor chat or to, show things or whatever. So go live on the camera phone. You can already have the other devices open to the show. You just don't go live on those devices. So right now in the room, I've got the camera we're streaming from. I've got a laptop open to the show. I've got this phone open to the show. I've got an iPad open to the show, and we have an Android phone that we use as that Bert uses to monitor chat. So you can have, and if your bandwidth can handle it, you can have a lot of devices to help you monitor. That Android phone he has isn't even a cell phone that we have connected to a service. It's an older Android phone that we had. And so we just kept it, and you can use it on Wi Fi to monitor. So just save one of your older phones, as long as it's not so old that it won't download the app, obviously. And then it's logged into his account. All the other devices are logged into our main selling account. It just helps because then he can monitor mod and all of those other things. All right, next item is giveaways. Have your giveaways. If you do giveaways, and I'm not really going to talk about whether or not you should have giveaways, I'm just talking about have them entered before you go live, and always load a few extras in case there's circumstances where you wanted another one, so that you don't have to pause your show to enter a giveaway. So always have them pre-entered. You have to have buyer giveaways pre-entered if you're going to use them, because you cannot run a buyer giveaway after people have already bought, or it's invalid for because they didn't buy before it was entered, or you didn't have it in there before they bought. That's what I'm trying to say. So make sure your giveaways are pre-entered. Anything that you have to stop and do during the show causes a pause in your show, and people leave when you have to pause to do something. So try to keep have everything prepped, ready to go, so that you don't have to pause your show. The next item on here is a promotion plan. Schedule any social media posts and reminders and any sharing you're going to do. If you're going to boost your show, anything like that, have that already planned out and done in advance. Social media, you guys, social media works. Use Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever else you use. If you have any kind of following on any other social media, you should be utilizing it to share your shows, to let people know what you have coming up. Um, Everything like that, because it really does make a difference, and you will get more people in your shows if you're actively posting on social media. And if we all collectively do it, it helps everybody, because we're bringing more buyers to the platform. The more of us who share on social media, the more we get coming to the app. So use your social media. All right. Moderators, make sure you have people already scheduled to moderate before you go live. Usually, when you schedule a show, any moderators you've used before in that same type of show will already be in there. And you don't always know who's going to show up and who doesn't, but if you have regular people that moderate for you, go ahead and have them already in there to moderate, so that when they show up, it's just seamless. They're already there. They're modded. Um, let's see, and choose moderators that you know and trust. That's key. All right, then the next one on here is touch it, run it. That's just a tip. If you touch something, you run it. don't touch it if you're not willing to run it. That's just a simple, get that in your brain. And we still, everybody has that afraid to run it kind of mentality sometimes, because if your show's not going well, just don't touch it, don't pick it up, don't have it in view. If you're not willing to sell it, don't even touch it. Okay. And then backup inventory. This is kind of the flip side of that. Always have additional items for two reasons. One, it may be going great and you don't want to have to pause your show to go dig up some more stuff to sell because you missed out on that opportunity of it's a great show and people are buying like crazy. I need more stuff. Have it on the ready. And then the other reason is sometimes whatever you had planned just isn't going well that day. You've got a pile of something else ready to flip your show to something else. Sometimes you have to just flip it. So always have extra inventory on hand, ready to go for either of those scenarios. Um, okay. Any comments about that, Bert? Any of those things? Anyone have comments that they want to share or questions about any of those items on that first page? This is all the things that you need to do before you ever go live. Any comments, questions?
I will say that especially if you're brand new and you've only done a couple of shows, make sure you give yourself plenty of time to get everything set up, because sometimes there are technical
Yeah.
difficulties with your not necessarily whatnot, but sometimes whatnot, but sometimes just your router or different things. So
Yeah.
power, some people have problems with power.
Yeah. So just have everything ready to go. And I would also say when you are going to have a show, make sure you have a dedicated amount of time so that you're going to be able to have the show without interruptions. And when the show is over, after you've, gone pee, gotten a drink, all that stuff, you have time to ship it as soon as possible. Now, if you do late night shows, maybe you don't ship it that night, but you maybe ship it immediately the next morning. Always make sure your schedule allows for that, because in order to be a successful seller on this platform, one of the important things is being able to fulfill your orders as quickly as possible, because that's what helps people give you good reviews. It makes sure they get the stuff out the door and they're happy and they're thrilled. And also it helps alleviate some of the problems, like someone having, oh, sorry, you can't cancel it. It's already in the mail, you know? So just fast as you can get it shipped is important.
Yeah.
All right. Next is the during the show checklist. So if you have this open on your screen, just swipe to the next page. So during the show checklist, ask chat when you go live to confirm audio and lighting are good. Once you're more seasoned and you're comfortable with your settings and comfortable with all your equipment, a little less important. But when you're first new, always confirm that in chat, especially if you are observing that people aren't sticking around. It could be as simple as they can't hear you or they can't see the stuff, or something like that, or maybe you don't even realize there's feedback or there's something weird. So make sure and always confirm, can everybody hear me okay? How's everybody today? If you can, if there's, just ask for confirmation. Is everybody hearing me okay? Yes, put a yes in the chat. Does my lighting look good? Is there, and when you're new, people are expecting you to kind of have that kind of conversation. Plus, it kind of breaks the ice. You have something to say when you open up. Hey, I'm so and so. I'm new and I'm excited to share these things with you. Can everybody hear me okay? Can everybody see? Those kind of things. Just do that to kind of confirm that everything looks good and sounds good. Um, Actively respond to comments and questions, and you're going to need moderators to help you with that. um, I still go into even seasoned sellers and people are asking questions left and right. And it's like they don't exist. The chat's not even there. They're just busy selling, and they're missing out on run this. Can you show me this? What about this? Do you have this? They're missing sales left and right because they aren't keeping track of the chat. And I know it's hard, especially if you sell by yourself. We still miss things sometimes. Get some moderators to help mod the chat so that you don't miss out on those kind of things. And I'll be honest with you, if that's a trend in your shows, you're losing customers because they're like, well, I go to their show, they never pay attention to their chat. It's annoying. I'm not going to go back. So make sure you're keeping on top of your chat. Do what you have to do. Get another device, put it up higher, do something, and get your moderators so that you can monitor your chat better so that you're not missing stuff. All right, manage bids. Keep track of current bids and announce the winners clearly. That's important for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons is if you have to rely on your video receipts for any reason, if you're speaking as well as what it shows on screen, you're going to be able to go, oh yes, confirmed, that's who won that item. That's going to be, trust me, you're going to need that some days, and you're going to be like, thank goodness I said out loud who won that item. And then another reason is sometimes people will get confused about what you were running, who won it, just verbally addressing, this is running, this person won it, so on and so on will really make a difference for you. Okay. Yes. Thank you for those video receipts. Right. And sadly, sometimes they don't work. So you always need to have dual methods of keeping track. So not only do you need that video receipt and the verbal confirmation, you also need to be keeping track with some kind of record, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, and field trip quilting brings up a good point. The video, before the video, it wasn't. I mean, Whatnot wasn't nearly as good to sell on. The video really has saved our heinies a number of times, but the video isn't always on.
Right. It's not always perfect.
It's not always perfect, especially with things like giveaways and stuff like that. And so Field Trip brings up a good point, is the audio is more important.
Right.
What you say in the audio is a better record than what you're showing on the camera.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why that audio is really important.
And
it really just keeps
sometimes,
everything in line.
even sometimes people make mistakes and load the wrong product into the.
Yeah, I do that quite regularly. He's pointing at me.
So
yeah.
myself
So
out,
if you
she might
confirm
want
audio, if I had the wrong thing listed, pinned, and ran the wrong item, verbally, I can actually say, crap, that was the wrong item. What it shows on screen is not what you're getting. You're getting this.
Right.
Right. So that takes care of when we do brain farts and have things like that happen. Right. So yeah, always speak it out loud.
Yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes people will buy something and buy it now at the exact moment that somebody completes an auction.
Oh yeah, and it's a little bit
And
confusing.
it can be
Yeah.
confusing because you don't know. You see two different names flash on the screen, and you have to make a judgment call at the moment. But you can always go back and review and make sure who got what.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So just that audio, verbal confirmation is important. Okay, address questions. Again, this is with monitoring a chat. Answer viewer inquiries promptly and accurately. So if people are asking questions, asking for things, make sure that you can address them, because again, people feel ignored if you aren't addressing things that are coming through on the chat. They feel like you don't care, and it's like, why am I bothering to be here? So make sure you do that. And then stay engaging. Maintain an enthusiastic and interactive presence. Ask open-ended questions to engage the chat. Use polls and other methods to keep viewers interested. Engaging means something different to every seller and every type of show. Um, you've got to still be authentic, but at the same time, people have to stay interested. They're coming here instead of watching reruns of Friends or whatever else they used to do before Whatnot existed, right? So you've got to keep them entertained if you want them to stay in your show. It's got to be engaging, it's got to be a nice clip. And, you don't have to be the same as some other category where maybe they're even more lively and yelling and I don't know, some categories that's the norm. Do what is comfortable for you, what makes sense for what you sell and what your audience likes. Be engaged, be engaging, be engaging. There we go. Um, Provide accurate information. Give precise details about items without getting too wordy and lengthy. And I have this problem because I'm very detail oriented and I have to catch myself and go, okay, I can give enough information without telling the life story of this item. Yeah. Or telling my life story connected to that item or whatever it is. So, enough detail that they're going to feel comfortable buying it, but not so much that you're derailing your show because you're describing everything to, the encyclopedia article definition. Okay. Handle any issues quickly and professionally. That's really where mods really help too. If you have someone go off the rails in your chat, honestly, I felt like the best way to handle things in some cases is to not acknowledge certain things or to say, message me, or to just remove them from the show if it's a serious enough, like it's clear they're whacked. Okay. So, but handle it quickly. And also, I want to say this, if you do have someone do something in chat that makes you angry or makes you want to say something that's not nice, bite your tongue. Handle it professionally, because if you go off on someone in your chat, even if whatever they said was inappropriate, rude, shouldn't be allowed, whatever, if you go off on them, the vibe in your show goes from to. So be careful not to go off on somebody in chat. Just handle it, either silently, carefully, don't go off on somebody in chat, because then the vibe in your show is really negative and it turns people off, because you go from being, oh, I'm so happy, to rude biatch. You know what I mean? So be careful about that. How do you handle, oh, were you going to answer that?
No, I was going to say, there are, well, go ahead and read this and then I'll.
Okay. So, Crazy Fabric says, how do you handle people who repeatedly spam promo their own show highlighted without even saying hello? So, technically, that's against terms of service, right? If they come in and ask to promote, then this is how I prefer to do it. I say, sure, go ahead and share your next show. Everyone who's in chat who's a seller, here's your opportunity to all put an emoji in the chat. And I tell that person, if you're going to promote, everyone else who puts an emoji in chat, you follow them and bookmark their upcoming shows too. So it kind of diffuses the lights on me. All of a sudden, it's now everybody gets a chance to share, and it gets your chat kind of active anyway, which is a good thing. So, and I don't mind allowing people to share shows. I prefer that they ask. If they just come into chat and start sharing, you can just remove them. You don't even have to say anything. I wouldn't even say anything, because then it's that negativity that comes on and it's like, oh, you're so rude. You just threw someone out of chat. So just remove them from the show. It's one click, remove. Nobody, you don't say anything. Nobody has to even know you removed them. And when you remove someone from that show, they're not blocked. They just can't come back while you're live for the rest of that show. And that sends a pretty strong, you really shouldn't come in and just start spamming people and asking to promote. If they ask, that's how I handle it. If they don't ask and they just start, just remove them, you
Yeah.
know?
So
So,
kind of along
yeah,
that same lines, one thing that's really effective is just ignoring certain people. A couple years ago, we had someone who used the word fart in their username,
everybody
and they
remembers that if you've been
and
here
they
around.
came into the show and immediately started doing off-color jokes and different thing and trying to get attention. And they did it 2 shows in a row. And usually in our shows, while she's selling, I respond to questions and stuff in the chat and talk in the background. So after about a minute or so of this person in the show, I just ignored her. And then she came the next show, and I completely ignored her. I didn't even acknowledge that she was in the show, made no comment, nothing. That's all it took, and she was gone because all she's really trying to do is get attention.
Right,
And there's different kinds of attention getters. And so when I get somebody in the show that's just trying to get attention, I just ignore them. I
right,
give everybody a chance because I do want that communication and I do want that back and forth. But when it becomes evident that all they're really trying to do is get attention, then you just ignore them. And you don't have to be rude about it or anything. There's so much happening in a show. You just choose what you want to respond to and
right,
what you want to talk about and stuff. Because it's just gonna come so fast. They'll go to some other show where they can hijack the show.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so just ignore them.
yeah. You can also block certain words. Yes. So in your show settings, you can go in and have certain words blocked so that if they do try to put certain words in chat, it will show up in red for you and your moderators, but nobody else sees it.
Yeah, your moderators can remove people from shows.
Yes, your moderators can remove and block if you give them permission. So yeah, go into your settings and just put in the words that you don't want them to be. So if you want people to not be able to ask to promote, just make that a word that's blocked. Or, can I share? So if you don't want them sharing shows, put share as one of the put promote and share as one of your blocked words. And then when they try, it will show up in red. And then you can choose to ignore it, or you can respond to them verbally, or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
For example, we don't allow the words burner and nut in our show.
okay, whatever. All right. Okay. So, let's see. Thank your viewers frequently. This is huge. People love it when they get thanked. People love praise. People love feeling like you care that they're there, that they're important to you. So always be very gracious and thank people regularly. Thank you for being here. Thanks for your bids. We appreciate you. All of those verbiage, and be genuine about it. It comes across corny if they can tell you're not genuine about it, but just really be genuinely thankful, because they don't have to come to your show. There's a million other shows they can go to right now. So always be thankful and gracious and tell people that you're glad they're there, and it will, people appreciate that.
Thank you for that thought, Dana.
All right, you're welcome. Stay energetic. Try and keep your energy up. If you have any, if you're, have any chronic health conditions or things that make it so you can't do long shows, don't do long shows. Maybe you do 2 or 3 shorter shows in a day, or you do one shorter show every day of the week, whatever you have to do, because as your energy starts to drain, your show's going to start to drain. So people can tell that you're getting tired and, and yeah, we all can only last so long. Well, I don't know. There's a few people on here that I've seen do like 24-hour shows and they're insane. But, you know, whatever your energy allows, do that. Self care. Take deep breaths, stay hydrated, remember to be yourself, relax, and have fun. Most viewers are excited to see you succeed. People don't want to watch people failing. If you go into a show and it's like nobody's buying, no one's interacting, you don't want to be there. It's awkward, it's weird. People want you to be successful. People are pulling for you to be successful. So if your energy's up and they can tell you want to succeed, they're going to pull for you and be there to be with you to succeed. And we just got a raid from Harper's 9917. Thank you for the raid.
It's
We are
Harper's.
doing a seller chat. Normally, I would pull up your profile and share. Please just everyone give her a follow. Please pin her in chat and tap her name, view profile, bookmark, follow. Thank you so much, Harper. All right. And let's do a giveaway while I'm thinking about it, because I did prepare a couple of my handmade whatnot bookmark. So everyone get in the giveaway and you can get one of these fabric handmade bookmarks that have the whatnot fabric logo. And these are nice. You can have a little bookmark. It also can double as a little coaster. And so get in that giveaway. And thanks for being here. All right. And next thing, um, with self-care, make sure that that it kind of goes back to this. Make sure you have time to do your show, do everything you need to do for the show. Don't start a show if your life is falling apart outside the show. So set a time aside, that time, make sure you don't have distractions, interruptions, and all of those things, because it's going to be really hard for you to get that show going, running, if you're like frantic. Okay.
Okay, we've got a couple of
Yeah.
questions. First, well, let me do the short question first. Where did you get that whatnot fabric? That's neat.
So way back when I first started selling on Whatnot, they had a dedicated team to help build the arts and crafts community. And they actually had custom fabric made that they gave away and sold to us.
So you have to be special to have some of it.
But it's no longer made. And so a few of us old timers have some, and we're not allowed to sell it. We can only make things out of it to use or give away. So I make these little bookmarks and give them away.
The next question is, and we won't spend a lot of time on this, Dawn, but because it's kind of off topic, but do you mostly prepare your fabric cuts ahead of show or run continuous pieces more? I take a long time to cut a lot, but I like the option of yardage. So the answer is yes
To
to
both.
everything.
Yeah. So it depends on what your best sellers are, but I'm more like you. I like to give people the option that if I have more than a half yard or whatever, that I can sell them the half yard. And then if they buy another half yard, it's going to be a continuous yard, but it is a lot of work to cut after. So you get to decide how you like to run it and what your buyers like. But there, I actually have a couple of seller tips that address that a little bit. So when we get to so again, read the show notes, because in the show notes I have a list of sellers who contributed some kind of comment or tip that we're going to share.
And
And
yeah.
one of them has, a couple of them actually have to do with that.
Right. And I will say, Dawn, you're asking the wrong question. It's because the question you should be asking is, what kind of show do I want to have, and what are the goals of my show and selling? Because the people who pre-cut everything have a different objective in their show than the people who cut everything off of bolts. And it's and it also depends upon who's watching your show,
Right.
because it's don't go into it. I mean, you have to consider your personal life and everything when you go into something, but consider what's working for you to be profitable and successful on whatnot.
Yeah. Really, really analyze all of those things and change it if it's not working. There's no, I mean, honestly, this app makes the window wide open for anything you want to do as long as it's within terms of service. You can try whatever you want to try. If it's not working, fix it to something else, change it to something else. And, you'll find the things that work for you best. You'll find your niche. You'll find, what people like. So you just have to keep trying. Don't give up. So
Right.
that would
It's
be my
like
answer.
if you go to McDonald's, they might have a self-serve fountain for your soda, but you wouldn't go to Ruth Chris Steakhouse and have a self-serve fountain for your soda. They still may sell you a soda, but it's going to be delivered in a completely different way because of how they're trying to present themselves as a
Right.
restaurant.
So you have to figure out what works for you. What's your presentation? What's your shtick?
Yes.
Yeah. Will this show be uploaded to YouTube to watch later? Yes. We're multicasting on YouTube. So most of the time it's there within a couple hours. Sometimes it's the next day. We're
Yes.
getting a winner who gets this bookmark.
Andy,
Andy, yay! Congrats. Thank you so much, Andy, and for being here. She's one of our fun sellers. Wild Granny's in the house. Andy, thank you for being here.
yes.
Andy's a great moderator, by the way.
Yes, we're also on Romanian Television 30 and a Duluth public PBS station. So, but only Duluth.
Only Duluth. Okay, so if you don't live in Duluth, you're out of luck. All right. Now we're on to post show. Post show checklist. Prepare orders for fulfillment promptly. I mean, enough said. As fast as you can get those orders out the door, the better. Shipping supplies. This is huge. Have a dedicated shipping station where everything you use for shipping is right there and you don't have to move it around. Um, I know sometimes it's hard if you have a small place and you haven't, and you have family and, where do you do it? I don't know. Figure it out, but get yourself a shipping station so you're not having to, every time you need to start shipping, gather everything up. Oh crap, where did I leave the tape? Oh crap, where's my scissors? Oh crap, So
That's enough crap for one
enough
show.
crap for one show. So have all of your stuff in a dedicated shipping station. That will make your life so much easier. Have all the boxes, everything you need there. So get it all ready. Have it stocked with all of the boxes. Does everyone know that you need to have, if you're going to use the flat rate or priority boxes, everyone has an account with USPS online. You make an account, you go on there, you order your shipping supplies, it gets delivered to your door. That is the flat rate boxes and the priority boxes. So if you use either of those types, please get them. And the only way you can get the padded ones is through the postal service online. Most post offices, they might have a few in stock, but they keep them behind the counter and they aren't going to want to give you 50 of them. So you've got to order them online. So this is a seller chat, brands of
No.
vault. So we're doing a chat for sellers who sell mostly in the fabric category. All right. Then the next item, pack and ship all your sold items with care. Um, I'm going to tell you this and don't be offended. We do have a few sellers in fabric still that are not putting the fabric in plastic bags. Put your fabric in plastic bags. Just do it. People will not buy from you if you send fabric that gets damaged because it got wet or the package got ripped and it got dirty, people will not buy from you. Put your put it in plastic bags. Um, you can order in bulk, lots of different places, cheap bags, put it in bags. Okay. We've done that from the get go. There's still some people that aren't doing that. Please just do it.
Yeah, you don't have to spend a lot of money. If you're not in the position to buy 1,000 bags or 500 bags or whatever. We started when we first started. We made so many trips to the dollar store
And
so
just
that we
bought
could buy
the
whatever was the least expensive but good enough,
right.
bags to put stuff in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you
And the
can start
ones,
out small, but eventually and do yourself a favor when you're out and about. If there's like warehouse liquidations and things like that, go check them out.
yeah.
You can get stuff like that for dirt cheap.
Yeah. And just watch for people selling their shipping supplies too, because people will sometimes quit selling and unload their shipping supplies for cheap. So definitely watch for stuff like that. Um, but one of the ones that I used when we first started selling was you could at Walmart you can get a box of the plastic bags that are the gallon size that are not Ziploc. They're just an open one and you twist tie them. And they're a lot cheaper than the Ziploc ones. And you can even buy those online for cheaper. So if you can't, if you don't want to have to buy them in bulk at a higher price, I mean, it's a lower price per bag to buy them in bulk. But if you're not sure about investing that much money into a plastic stinking bag, right? Do that because those are pretty cheap and they're a good enough ply that they'll work.
And I will say shop around, because some of the companies that specialize in packaging that you might be really familiar with, that you may see their catalogs all the time and or
They're
advertisements,
not the best
they're
priced,
not the best price.
usually
They're
more
very
expensive.
convenient, but they're
Yeah,
pretty
so
expensive.
shop around, do your homework.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so bread bags in the Midwest is what they call those. Yeah, exactly. Goodwill in the bagged items section for shipping labels and envelopes. Yes.
Yes, we do that
We do
all the
that
time.
too. Sometimes we'll be at Goodwill bins and someone will have dropped off a big old bag of bags. And I'm like,
Or
yep,
envelopes. Yep.
every day I'll snag those.
Yeah, in fact, our giveaways yesterday had on the envelope said Walmart Photoshop,
Yeah.
because somebody had saved a bunch of envelopes that they'd gotten from Walmart Photoshop. So
And they were
it's
nice envelopes. They're nice envelopes that have a good size for giveaways. And that's what we used. So
yeah, we're
I
not
look for
proud.
free stuff. I'm not proud. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to send dirty garbage, but if it's
But
a
yeah,
nice
envelopes are
something,
envelopes are very expensive.
yeah. So I look for stuff at Goodwill all the time, like that shipping supplies, envelopes, stuff like that.
Yep.
All right. Pack and ship all sold items with
Yeah,
care.
$2. Yep.
Oh, and reuse boxes, you guys. You can reuse boxes as long as they're in good enough condition. And Andy, that's in the chat, sells stickers that say upcycled reused box. She'll sell you some cute stickers that you can put on those reused boxes. It's kind of like a proud I upcycle, I reuse boxes. So, if they're trashed, if they're ripped, don't use them, obviously. But any box that is in good condition, reuse it. Why not? Okay. So what says I just found a bunch at a bin liquidation type store. I went on the $2 day. Yeah, awesome. That score. I know it's so funny because when we have bought storage units, I actually get more excited about some of those kind of things than I do about the actual stuff I'm going to sell because I'm like, score, we just got all these bags and I'm not going to have to buy more bags for a while. So, you know, I know it's funny, but I get excited about free shipping supplies.
Yeah, post-it notes and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
So anything you can use like that. Okay. Follow up. Include a thank you message or a note or a small gift with your orders. That will go a long way. I I'm not a believer in business cards, I will say, because I think those just get thrown in the trash, but that can be the little note. So if you have a bunch of business cards already, use them, put a little note on there, clip it to their packing slip or something. But, a little sticker, just a nice little thanks so much, and you sign it. It doesn't have to be anything long, but it shows again your appreciation of them shopping with you. Do nice little things in your packages as much as you can to show that you're grateful for their order. It's just a little bright note to say, hey, thanks so much. Um, I will say be careful with, like stuff that might spoil, stuff that's too smelly. So probably don't do sticky candies that could get wet and stick stuff up. Be careful about things that are highly fragrant that can kind of turn people off. So there's a line, be careful about. Let's see.
Yeah, live reptiles, really bad gift choice.
Okay, review your performance. Analyze your show metrics to identify areas for improvement. And here's one of the metrics that you should always be looking at: your average price per order. You want that always improving to show that you're getting a bigger audience, things are getting bid up more, maybe you're sourcing better items that people want, you're knowing what people want. That price per item is a big statistic to help you see if you're growing. So always check that. And that's just in your analytics. You have to in the analytics, you go down to the other setting underneath the drop down menu to see some of those other analytics. So make sure you're checking that. Gather feedback. Check your reviews regularly and listen to viewers who might have suggestions for inventory, format, or other things to enhance your shows. Listen to your chat. They're going to tell you all the things they want. They'll tell you, do you have this? Are you going to carry that? And make notes of stuff like that and try to source the stuff that people want. It's going to make a big difference. And I know you can't always source exactly what everybody wants, but you can definitely try, you know, and people are thrilled if you listened to that and the next time they come to your show, you're like, oh, and by the way, people were asking for this. Ta-da! Here it is. They know you listen. They know you care. They know you're paying attention. Do you see a benefit in using the promote tools from Whatnot? Um, they can be, but you have to really look at the analytics after to see if it made a difference. I'm going to say in our category, um, I haven't noticed that it makes a big difference for me. But it is getting more and more crowded, so it may possibly make a difference. Because what it does if you're promoting is it puts you at the top of search because you paid to promote. So your show shows up in the top.
So
Um, and Becca's
it
Sewing
says,
says it does make a difference for me. Okay. I've probably been around long enough. The few times I've tried it, I didn't really think it made much of a difference. But, so the only way you can really know for sure is to try it a couple of times, one time, two times, and then look at the analytics. It will tell you how many people it brought in. It will tell you how many people of them converted to a buyer, and so on. So always look at the analytics to make sure you feel like what you spent was worth it.
well, and also, so if you're a new seller, what are your goals? How much do you want to sell? Is this some kind of a fun part-time job that you do, or is it just you enjoy the app and you enjoy being on there so every once in a while you're going to sell something, or are you trying to make this your full-time job? And you may want to invest in some things
Right.
even if the returns are marginal, because your end goal is to get to another place. Right now, one of the things that we struggle with at the level that we're at is, do we want to expend the energy, the time, and the money to push this to a higher level because of how long we've been doing this and everything, or do we want to try and keep ourselves at a certain level where the two of us can just handle it? It depends upon what your goals are.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and so, like when she says it wasn't worth it for us, it didn't bring us enough additional sales that we felt like it was worth
Spending the money.
spending the money, because we're in that kind of gray area where we could go either way.
Yeah.
So, but when you're brand new, some people spend a lot of money to get established and to get known, and to get successful. But you have to be so careful, because you can spend a lot of money and not ever make it, because there is an element of all these things that Dana's telling you to do. There's also an element of luck, or your on camera personality, or your ability to pick items that people are going to want to buy. There's some things like that you can't measure, that go into a successful seller.
Right.
And I can tell you, it's like some people think, oh, I'm not a beauty model, I can't be successful. Some of the ugliest people I've ever seen in my life are hugely successful on Whatnot. Some people with funny voices, oh, I'm spitting all over you, are hugely successful on Whatnot, and but then you also have Mr. Beast did that show the other day with 800 bazillion viewers and stuff like that. A Mr. Beast is going to approach Whatnot completely different than somebody who's an absolute nobody, who this is the first time they've even tried to sell something.
Right.
So 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 we can't really give you a good answer to your question about whether it's worth the money or not, just because we don't know what your sales goals are, and we don't know where you're trying to get, or like, and as in the case of Becca said, it's successful for her. So
Right. Yeah. And that's a good point, because it really just depends on what you're trying to achieve. Um, so,
so if you don't know who Mr. Beast is, that's who Whatnot paid to come in on Super Bowl Sunday and give away several $1 million worth of things.
right.
And he's
He's
if
a big
if you're
YouTube star.
older than 30, you may have never even heard of him.
Right.
But if I guarantee you, if you're 30 or younger, you know Mr. Beast out the wazoo.
Yeah, he wasn't from Whatnot. He came, Whatnot partnered with him to come on and do a show Super Bowl weekend. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, if you have kids, they would know who he is. Yeah. Well, you can scroll back and see if we missed anything.
But we are so excited about our success.
Oh, your 9-year-old grandson told me who he was. That's funny. That makes you feel old, right? Your
Crazy
9-year-old's like,
Fabric ladies, yeah.
Grandma, don't you know who
He's
that
the
is?
number one YouTuber.
Yeah, he's the number one YouTuber. Yep.
My 9-year-old grandson told me who he was. Yeah.
Yeah, he has products in stores now. He has candy bars and other things he sells that are his label.
So if you don't, just might as well take the time and tell people. So he was an inventive guy who got the idea that, what if he videotaped? I'm using old terminology here. He What if he videoed himself giving away prizes? And he started small because he was small, but as time went on, the prizes got bigger and bigger and bigger. And now he just comes up with stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'll put you on this remote desert island, and whoever survives the longest without going nuts, I'll give you $2 million. Or he'll go, and he went and bought a bunch of water wells in Africa for poor villages and stuff like that. He just gives away money right and left. Sometimes it's competitive, sometimes it's charity minded, but that's who Mr. Beast is. And that rolled into making candy bars and doing some other things and stuff like that. But that's why he's wildly. He probably brings in a couple $1 billion a year in revenue
Yeah.
for himself just from clicks of people
On
watching
his
his videos and
videos.
stuff.
Yeah. And that, and someone like that, their approach, anyone that has a big following, their approach to coming on Whatnot is a whole different, we're none of us are in that league, right? Or I wouldn't be here talking to you.
Well, and I'm
So,
waiting for the person on Whatnot who comes up with a concept and an idea that pulls so many viewers in that they become another Mr. Beast.
yeah, it's very possible.
It's entirely
Yeah.
possible.
Well,
And
and we have sellers on here who became somebody on Whatnot that are now someone on other social media because of Whatnot. It goes both ways.
right.
They didn't necessarily have a following on social media before they became a popular on Whatnot. So it goes both ways. All right, let's see. Where were we at on our list? Plan your next shows. The minute you finish a show, either mentally or I would suggest write down what went well, what didn't go well, and give yourself the chance to have feedback about that show so that you can remember the things that you want to do, those things people asked for, all that stuff. Write it down really quick, jot it down, keep a notebook at your selling table to jot stuff down. That will pay off for you big time to just note, okay, remember people were asking for this. Remember this went poorly, don't do it again. Whatever you need to write down so that you can have, because once you write it down, it really does commit it better to your memory than just thinking, oh, I'll remember that, because guess what? You're not going to remember it. So, yeah. And then handling customer requests. Address any cancellation requests, returns, or exchanges professionally. This is important. I know it's annoying when someone asks to cancel. I know it's frustrating when people message or you get a customer service message saying people want their money back, whatever. Or you get a message that something's broken, missing, and there are scammers out there who are apparently taking items and using AI to make look like it got trashed when it really didn't, and they're sending pictures. Um, I will assure you that Whatnot tracks how many times people try to get returns, and they actually get booted off the app if they are constantly asking for things to get returned, because they're a scammer. They're coming on, buying stuff, and then lying and saying they didn't get it or it's damaged or whatever. So, how do you handle that professionally? Ask a lot of questions. Don't get mad. Don't say rude things. Don't call people out and because you just don't know. Handle it as professionally as you can. Fortunately, our category, I feel like, we have a little bit higher echelon of people, of shoppers. They're not buying the kinds of stuff that people often feel bad that they bought it. So, we don't get as much of that, but handle it professionally. And I will say, if you handle it professionally, usually if someone was legit and had a legit claim, they will come back and buy from you again. If you don't handle it professionally and you're snippy and rude, you've just lost a customer. So do your best to handle it professionally. And if you don't already have the ability to handle your own customer service, how do you know if you have that ability? I don't know why they haven't rolled this out to everybody yet, but it's a plan. Everyone will be handling their own customer service. What does that mean? It means that if someone goes in and clicks get help with order and sends a message, instead of Whatnot customer service being the first ones to read it and see it, you are going to be the one who sees that initial I need help with this order request. And you want that. I know that seems kind of like, oh, I don't want people messaging me about stuff. You do. Why? Because then you can handle it. You get to decide if you're going to accept a request to cancel or decline it, or accept a return request, or you are then given the opportunity to try and make something right if it did get damaged, lost, etc., etc.
Okay.
So that's what
Melson has a question.
when adding stuff to the buy it now, I had to do it through a show. Was that the right way to add stuff to my buy it now? Will it still be in the buy it now after? So pay attention to the way you list something. So when you make a listing, you either select auction, buy it now, or giveaway, right? And when you select buy it now, if you're creating it inside the show, it will be in that show. And there's a little button where it is that you can turn on or off, green or gray, that is reserve for live. If you click that on, it will only be available in that show and then available in other shows when you clone it or add it. If you turn that off to gray, it will be also available in your shop for someone to buy 24/7 even when you're not live. Okay. So if you added it inside the show, it will be in that show. And then in order to have it show up in another show, in a future show, if it didn't sell out, you need to clone it. So you go into your Seller Hub shows, past shows, find that show that you want to take stuff from that didn't sell, and put in the new show you want them to go to, click all the items you want to clone, go down to the bottom, click clone. It will take all the unsold stuff and put it into the new show.
Okay. Sherry wants to know if you get notified that someone bought it.
Yes, if you sell something out of your main profile shop, it sends you an email. And it will also show up in your orders when you go to do your shipments.
Yeah.
You'll see it in marketplace orders. So always check that marketplace orders.
Yeah, and if you think you've got everything scanned and ready to deliver to the post office, it'll let you know that you still have some.
Yeah, when you scan, oh, and that's another thing. Please use the in-app scanner. That is what they want everyone to be using. That will give you the best results for showing that you ship your stuff on time. So the way that the in-app scanner works is you go into the app and you go to, let me just minimize here for a second. So you go to Seller Hub, and then you do the hamburger menu at the top, the 3 lines, and fulfillment right there. See that word? And then click that. And if you have any open orders, it will just pop up this thing down at the bottom, and you click it and then you just scan your orders. It just scans the UPC code right on the label. And you do that right before you take them to the post office. And then your shipping accuracy will be on point. So the old way of taking scan sheets or having it scanned at the post office, which you can still do that, but it's the same difference. If you scan it with your phone before you take it to the post office, that will give you the best result for accurate shipping time. Okay.
So Crazy Fabric Ladies wants to know if we're going to the event in April. The answer is yes. I've been contracted at the main meeting to pop out of a cake. It is a very large cake though. So it should be good.
Yes, we are going to be there. Anyone else in chat going to be there? Who else is going? to Austin, Texas in April.
Should I still get a receipt from the post
If you want to, if you're more comfortable about also going to the desk, having them scan in the packages, here's what I will tell you. If you're in an area that is notorious for slow, poorly handled shipments, it's not a bad idea to still do that. We live somewhere where everybody's very professional, things get handled nicely. I do the in-app scanning and then I'm good to go. All
If you're
right.
thinking about going, it's sold out. It's I was in a community meeting today with the headquarters and whatnot. She was off doing something else, and they said it's sold out super lightning fast.
Yeah.
So
So it is sold out, and it is only available for, I don't know what their criteria is, but new sellers are not invited. So if you did not get an email invitation to attend, the reason new sellers aren't invited is because the content for this summit is for existing sellers to level up. So it's the content is not for teaching new sellers how to use the platform. So it's a whatnot seller summit where they're going to have speakers and classes, and it's just all for sellers. Yeah.
I would recommend if you really wanted to go to this, um, who would they contact at whatnot about hosting a local
So
event?
in my show notes, so go and open the show notes, and in the show notes, the last starred bullet in the show notes, so you'll have to kind of scroll down, is a meetup hub website for whatnot, and you can go there and view if there are going to be any seller gatherings in your area, or you can also apply to host a seller gathering, or you can message them and they will maybe not host one, but they will help you reach out to sellers in your local area, and you can get together and do a seller gathering. So we did one here in Utah about a year ago, February of last year, and it was a lot of fun. And Whatnot hosted it. They paid for the meal and they gave us some swag to give away. And yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So somebody asked, how do you find out how to be successful? We have people that went to that show who were brand new sellers, didn't even really know what they wanted to do, and are now premier sellers
Yeah.
on whatnot. And
Who went to that meeting,
who
that
with
gathering
that
that
gathering.
we had
So
here?
you feed off of each other. Dana does way too many help shows every month. She does it every other or twice a week, I think. She when she works out on her treadmill, she hosts a show. Those are really good because it's wide open for you to kind of ask anything.
Yeah.
And it's also really good because I go to the gym at that time and I don't have to listen to you guys' questions. It's pretty awesome.
So yeah, I'm on the treadmill every Tuesday and Thursday morning. It's called Walk and Talk. It's on my schedule. Just click my name up there. And oh, thank you for the tip. That was very kind of you, Sparrow. Aw, thanks. That makes me feel special. So just click my name, click view profile, and then look at my shows. And the ones where it's the lady walking on the treadmill, bookmark those shows, and you can come. And if it's not at a convenient time for you, like everyone said in chat, I multicast onto YouTube, and you can go rewatch them if you missed them.
But yeah, you can get really, really specific questions to her about, okay, I tried this, it didn't work. How do I fix this issue?
Right.
She gets really down to the nitty gritty in those shows, where this show is more whatnot sends us a topic to talk about, and we try to keep it more focused on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. But also in my auction tab. So if you click the shop button, so just on your screen, click the shop button. and open my shop and then change it to auction, because I think when you guys do it, it opens up the buy it now, but click the auction tab. All of the documents in my auction tab are just all kinds of tips and tricks and cheat sheets and information about different things. And I talk about all of these in those walk and talk shows that I do. And I go through them and I share tips and we talk about things that are happening. I talk about updates. I talk about glitches. If you have something that you've seen that you want to report, come into that show and share, and I will try and help you get it fixed. So just, all those things. And then there's a bunch of other sellers who also do, these community chat shows that are awesome, trusted sellers. Any of us that are on that community support team, we're there for a reason. We're there because Whatnot considers us a trusted source. We are not paid by Whatnot. We partnered with them to, help do seller support. Is there a way to contact Whatnot support? The Whatnot support right now is email only. It is their goal to get phone support. They grew so fast and so furious that they can't keep up with getting enough employees. And that's the honest truth. In that little meeting that Bert was in today, they are actively recruiting anyone who wants to work for Whatnot, um, in customer service, in trust and safety. If you're a seasoned enough seller and you want to work for Whatnot, message me and I'll connect you with someone. There are remote jobs. You don't have to live um, where they're located. You can do customer support or trust and safety jobs from home. Um, I can hook you up with someone if you want to try and get a job with Whatnot. Um, it's a thought. So message me if that's something you might be interested in, and I can pass along your name and find out where you get your resume sent. Do you have to be a seller to work for them? Um,
I don't know, but they've been asking for seasons.
Yeah, they're asking for seasoned sellers. They
But they-
want people who know how to use the app. And Whatnot employees are required to be a seller.
Oh.
So they don't have to go live a lot, but they do have to know how to use the
I
platform.
don't think they have to anymore.
I don't know that everybody does.
But you can be. That's the thing.
Yeah, you can be a seller. Oh, this is not the word. They're not required. They are encouraged
There
to
you
be a
go.
seller. That's the right word. Okay. Can you still be a seller? Yes. And in fact, like I said, they are encouraged to be a seller. So, like Kenny, who does the Whatnot Seller shows, which is the first starred bullet in my show notes, he is the community support team manager and he sells on Whatnot. So, he sells about once a month. He and his nephew go on and sell die cast cars, Hot Wheels. So, yeah. Yep. All right, let me look at our little list here, see, make sure I got through everything on there, and then we're going to start selling the little tips that I got from other sellers. Um, let's see. The only thing I didn't say is print this checklist out, keep it handy. So make sure you have this screenshotted and maybe print it out and have a checklist. And yeah. How do you get closed captions for your show? So closed captions are hit and miss. You're supposed to be able to click the little three bars in any show. So the little three bars right there. And then if closed captions are an option, it will have you click it. I don't know why, and they haven't been able to figure out exactly why. Sometimes it's available and sometimes it's not.
So click let me show you guys something. Click your three buttons.
Yeah.
And show them your screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, when you click the little three things, there's a bunch of stuff in there.
Okay, so now I clicked my three things on an Android. I've only got three things available. So all options are not available on Apple,
both Apple and
Android. and your desktop computer
has a bunch of different
has
things
a bunch of
too.
different things too.
They are
It's a matter of getting to know the systems.
right. And they are trying to make it so that it is the same across all, types of devices, but from a programming standpoint, that's a nightmare. Has anyone ever worked as a programmer? I mean, Apple has a whole different programming than Android, and web versions of things are all different. They try their best to make it the same experience across the board, but it's just a programming nightmare. I've seen people make their packing list have small print that fits on the 4x6 printout. Do you know how
That's a
to do that?
feature in your computer.
Yeah, it's in your printer.
You
So
print it
when
in
you
your
go to
computer.
print,
Yeah.
when you go to print the label, there is a drop down menu, more settings,
More options.
more options, I think is what it says. And you can choose what pages to print and how many to print per page. So you'll just have to see how it pops up on your thing. Because on mine, when I go to print the label, I can just choose well, first of all, you, instead of just saying print, you can put in what page you want to print. And then, so like if they have a 3-page, the 2 pages of a packing slip in the label, you can put 1 through 2 and then do more settings and then say only print 2 per page, and then it will put those 2 on one label, and then you can say print number 3, and then it will print
Or whatever number
the label. Yeah. So yeah, it's also partly your software of your thermal printer. So just try it and see how it works. Because I could show you mine, but it may not show up the same depending on what printer you have.
Because we're magic.
All right. Um, let's go to the presentation of the tips and stuff that we got from other sellers. So I need to pull this up on.
No, you don't have to use a thermal, but I highly recommend it once you get up to where you're printing a lot of shipping labels.
Yeah, it's really makes a big difference to use a thermal printer. Okay, so the first tip that we have here, and I'm going to type their name in chat as I share it. So the first tip that I'm going to read off was from Filled Trip Quilting. And she's here in the chat still. So everybody give her a follow. So this is what she said. She said, the big things for me have been a good light and an even better battery pack. So having a good battery pack, and hang on, oh, you know what, just a second. I'm gonna have to do
Just
this.
a minute, her battery just went dead.
No, I have this on a little presentation and it was going too fast. Okay. So a good light and an even better battery pack. Streaming can drain you. Also, having a plan for shipping has been key. Like where will you store your sold items? What does your shipping station look like? And then she sent a picture of her phone stand that she has from Anchor, and it has an iPad stand that clips to the base. And I'm not going to be able to make this bigger, am I? Let me see. I tried to do this so I could share the pictures, but I can't get it bigger. Yeah, this isn't going to be big enough for you to see. All right, so I probably won't share the pictures right now, but I can share them. I'll try and make it so I can share them bigger later. But she has a nice stand from Anchor, Anker, and it has an iPad stand that clips to the base, so she can put an iPad on there and have a bigger screen to view. Okay. A battery pack would be she has one of those batteries that are portable that you can plug into your phone instead of plugging it into the outlet. So she has it charged so that she can just clip it to the phone or plug it into the phone and it will keep your phone charged. It's a little bit more convenient than having a cord across the room.
If you're new, one whatnot show of about 3 hours will completely drain your phone.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that was Field Trip Quilting. Thank you so much for contributing that tip. All right, the next person who contributed a tip is Joy of Texas. So I'm going to pin her in the chat. And this list of all these sellers is in the show notes. So make sure you go in there and follow all of those sellers. So Joy of TX, Texas.
Joy of Texas, who lives in Oklahoma. I'm kidding.
All right. She says, I think one piece of equipment I couldn't live without is a good quality light. That's a pretty basic intro level tool that anyone is going to need. I see a lot of sellers with crazy light setups, not the $9.99 Amazon overnight lights, the stands that shake that viewers don't like. So once she was able to invest in a good quality light, she said that makes all the difference. You can start out basic, but at some point you need, and that was why I gave you this tip. These light bulbs that have the setting dial that you can dial it up to daylight. Get some big lamps. If you already have some lamps that you own, just put them in your room. You can even take the lampshade off and put them in a position and put these daylight bulbs in there. That's a lot cheaper than buying some big studio light or one of the really expensive ring lights. Okay. I've been told to keep your purchase at approximately 20 to 30. Is that right? What do you mean by purchase? Like you've been told to keep like how many items you run or how many items people buy. You'll have to be more specific.
$30 or
Oh,
selling items for a new seller.
so how many items you sell per show? Is that what you mean? How many items you sell in a specific show? Oh, okay.
We sold more than
We sold more than that, but I mean, well, I think maybe people are telling you that you should probably have 20 to 30 items ready,
minimum
listed.
Yeah.
That's the minimum for a new seller so that you have enough inventory to show for your first show. That's a minimum. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next tip. And thank you, Joy of Texas, for sharing that tip. If you're here, and our next tip came from Hopkins MSB. Let me tag them in chat. So at Hopkins oh wow, I can't type today. Hopkins MSB. There we go. So please give them a follow. So she said, I'm honestly not that crazy about my setup. But I will say that when I first started in September, I was using a pretty run of the mill phone stand and I upgraded to a gooseneck tripod and it made a huge difference at the time. I'll send you a picture. And she sent me a picture. This is tiny, but I'm going to try and kind of show you. So, and I've seen these where it's all bendable all directions. That makes a big difference because you're going to be able to position your camera. And I showed you earlier the little gooseneck I have on mine right there. It makes a big difference because you can go up, you can go down, sideways, you can go in all the positions to be able to show what you need to show. How do we sign up to get all new changes for Whatnot? I hear now I have to sell 1,000 items to get paid. Well, that's always been the case. So that's always been the case. You don't get instant payout until you've sold 1,000 items. You will get paid, but you don't get paid till it gets delivered if you haven't sold 1,000 items yet. Renee said, really? I was told 250. Now instant payout has, as far as I know, has always been 1,000 items.
Since they instituted it.
Yeah. So I guess if there was a period of time that people were told 250, maybe they went back to 1,000. So when you first sign up to sell and you're approved to sell, you have to sell 1,000 items before you get instant payout, meaning that until you hit that 1,000, when you sell, you have to ship the items. It has to show delivered or been at least a certain amount of time before you're able to cash that money out. That's what that is. So if someone was told 250, which I've never heard, maybe they were doing a promotion or something at some point. But as far as I know, you have to have that 1,000. Once you hit 1,000 items sold and you've proven that you're a trusted seller, then when you sell the items, the minute you print those shipping labels and ship your items, you get
You get
paid.
paid.
You don't have to wait for it to get delivered. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. All right, the next tip came from, and did I tag? Now that Whatnot does not pay out to PayPal, what would you recommend? Well, the only choice you have is Stripe to connect to your bank. So you have to use Stripe if you're a new seller. That's the option that they have set up. So you connect through Stripe to your bank.
But I'd recommend Stripe.
Stripe is a
Or you could use Stripe.
money platform that handles the transactions. So it takes um, the money from when you cash out, it takes it through their processing system. They verify your bank and then it transfers it to the bank.
Well, all of your fees and stuff are taken out of your sales.
No, it doesn't cost you to use Stripe. It's the platform they're using. It's just part of the.
It's part of your fees and stuff you pay
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Yeah. If you're a new seller and don't know anyone that is in your room, what should you talk about? Not the weather.
Oh no! Talk about
Yeah,
the
you
weather.
can talk about the weather,
Talk
but
about the weather.
you can also start sharing about yourself. I would encourage you to share what you're willing to share about yourself because that's how people make connections. You know, talk about where you're from, talk about where you grew up, talk about where you live, talk about, you know, what your family setup is. I'm married, I have 3 kids, I'm a grandma, whatever. Talk about those kind of things at a basic level because that's where people start making those connections.
Oh yeah. Don't
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 trauma
talk
dump.
about religion or politics.
Yeah, don't do politics or religion.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 things you got to stay away from. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, you can talk about all kinds of things, experiences you've had. Um, I don't know. We talk about songs, we talk about music, we talk about, Bert tells dumb dad jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can do all kinds of things, and that's how people get to know you. So let me run this other giveaway. So everybody get in again for one of these fabric bookmarks that I made with the Whatnot logo fabric. So they're the little corner bookmarks. It has a little pocket that goes on the corner of your page. All right. The next contributor was, let's see, here we go. Vintage Chick. Vintage Chick was here. Is she still here? Are you still here, Vintage Chick? Awesome seller. Here we go. She's been around probably longer than me, or about the same time. Are we? Who's older, me or you? Not age wise. Who's been on the platform longer? Me or you?
And who's better looking? Me.
You. Yeah. All right. Here she is, a vintage chick, pinned in chat, and this is what she said: Be transparent on what size fabric is running when you go live. Make sure that whatever it says on the fabric or on the listing is correct for what you're running. So don't confuse people about what size the fabric is. So there you go. That was her tip.
Okay,
City Stash is in the house.
funny
How you
story.
doing?
Funny story. We got a complaint from a customer, and Dana, if you come to any Dana shows, she measures everything 18 times, opens
That
it up,
bad?
holds it in the camera, drapes it over her shoulder, talks about what it would be good for. And someone complained and said when they got their fabric, it was a smaller piece than they expected.
And
And I'm like, oh my, you are either blind or really, really not a very smart person because she overtells
I overdo
everything.
it. That's true.
This is an inch and 1/29.
All right. So vintage chick, make sure people know what size the fabric is as you're selling it. Either it's in the listing or it's marked on the fabric. I've seen some sellers that have nice little signs that they put, in view at this time that they're selling it. If you've ever been in a lovely Pinto show, she's really meticulous about that. And I love her organization. She's very organized. Do you think leaving reviews concerning giveaways will stop? We all wish. One thing I have noticed that they did add is that when you print your packing slip, this just showed up a couple of days ago. It bolds the word giveaway on their packing slip. Kind of like, this was a giveaway. Do not leave a bad review. This was free. It's like in bold on the packing slip. But yeah, it's probably a waste of energy. So I mean, I don't know what to do about that. If you get a lot of givey goblins in your shows and they're giving you bad reviews, maybe don't do giveaways. Maybe do dollar starts on some things or just send nice little gifts. I don't know the answer to that because you're going to get some people that no matter what you do, it's never good enough, right? Their life sucks. I guess maybe pray for them because what can you say about people that give a free item, they leave a bad review, right? Yeah, there you go, like a lounge fly from City Stash. This poo lounge fly is not my style. I don't like it. 4 stars. 2 stars. It happens, right? I don't know. You're never going to make everybody happy. So you just have to decide what you can deal with.
Well, and the other thing to remember about reviews is over the years, if you have 300 5-star reviews and 2 4-star reviews,
they get buried.
they
Nobody
get buried.
cares.
They get drowned.
Yeah, and if someone's reading your reviews and they scroll down far enough to see that one review that was a little bit negative, they're going to read between the lines and go, that person is woo-hoo because look at all these 5-star reviews. They're going to know.
Yeah.
So don't sweat too much about it. Just sell more and get better reviews, and it's going to get buried. And we have a giveaway winner who gets the bookmark. So what, Jen? Congrats.
Jen won. So what?
And I'm loving City's comment of, let's see, where did I miss it? What did she say about the iPad?
The
Read it,
$1,000
it's funny.
iPad
Yeah, the
sucks.
$1,000
Not
sucks.
Apple.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. East Coast says, I haven't had negative reviews, knock on wood, but I know sellers who have because of giveaways. Yeah. I think that's probably less. We don't get that much in our category. I don't know. I don't get negative reviews for giveaways. I don't think I've ever gotten one. So hopefully, of course, one of you are now going to just give me one on purpose, right? Can non-buyers sneak into buyer giveaways?
Well, it's
Yes.
not sneak, but
It's not sneak. It is legit because of laws that are on states' books that you can't require a purchase to win a giveaway. It's a sweepstakes law. It's been around since the dawn of time. It's a law. So they have to allow you to fill out a form to enter the sweepstakes, no purchase necessary. If people go through the hoops to enter, I've never even successfully seen. I tried once to see how you fill out the form. I could never even find it. I was like, how do you even go through this? I'm like, somehow you go through, you press how to enter, you go somewhere else, you find something, you fill out some dumb form. I personally do not want to go to those lengths, but some people do it. You did like 100 of them when we were first learning whatnot. Okay, was it worth it? Did you win anything?
We've had
So
some
you won
people.
a ton of cool stuff. So yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. I never could figure it out. So I was like,
We
maybe I'm just not patient enough to go through all the hoops you have to jump
Yeah,
through to get
we've
the
given
form
some
filled out.
stuff away.
Yeah, people complain about free giveaways. I know, right? It's like they have no life if they're complaining about something free. And is a giving, maybe the bold is for what not to see easier if negative review. Possibly. I felt like when I saw it pop up, I was like, it's showing them on their packing slip. Hello, this was free. This was your giveaway. That was kind of the vibe I got. But maybe it's for both reasons. Yeah, could be. Yeah. Some people just like to complain. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I said. Some people just, nothing you ever are going to do is going to make them happy. So move on. Don't spend any more of your time because they win. If you have any more time spent on worrying about their bad review, they've already won. Move on. All right. Next is Jessica AMB. So let me tag her in chat. She contributed this comment. Did I get her tagged? All right. Jessica says, I don't think people should use a screen photo of something they don't have to sell. That's huge. Don't put pictures on your thumbnail. Don't put pictures on the listing of your items that is something you don't actually have. So use a drawing, use just a word. Your thumbnail can be an AI generated, just a pile of cartoon fabric. Nobody is expecting that, right? But don't put pictures of actual fabric or actual items that you don't actually have to sell because people will expect that in your show and they come in and where's that piece of Alexander Henry you have on your cover? Oh, well, I don't have that, or it's not for sale. They're gone. So don't do that. Okay? Put stuff you either actually have or just use drawings or other things on your listings and your thumbnail. Thank you, Jessica, for
So
that tip.
there was a question about using packing slips if that's you know, to put a receipt with the orders. I think it's a best practice to do that. We didn't always do that when we were first starting. But once we got a thermal printer, it made it a lot cheaper and fast and easy.
And
And
well, and my feeling is I feel like I want something inside the package with their name and address on it so that it's on the outside and the inside. If something happens to that package, there's a chance it can still get to the correct buyer.
yeah, because if you have a good postal service, if I mean, some post office sucks. They just do. Let's face it. But if you live someplace like where we do, where the postal workers care and stuff like that, they'll call you or send or give you a message through your mail carrier. That they have a package for you or something where they found your information.
Yeah.
Because I think if you've bought anything on Whatnot for more than 6 months, you've definitely received a gnarled package.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right. Next tip was left by Kim Aruski. So let me type her in. She is so adorable, you guys. Go spend a little bit of time with Kim and you'll just have a happier day. She's adorable. And here's the tip that she sent. This is really good. High speed, reliable internet or cell service is critical. glitchy show equals buyers moving on to the next show. Don't waste time with dead air space and unreliable video or audio streaming. The most recent statistics, I love this. She tells us this and then she backed it up, baby. The most recent statistics have shown that the average attention span in online viewing is 8 seconds. You have that long to capture a new viewer's attention and give them a compelling reason to stay and shop. 8 seconds. Holy crap. So yeah, if your internet's glitchy or you're having to take a lot of pauses, people are gone because they aren't going to wait for you to fix whatever. Okay, so make sure you have reliable internet. Order more Wi-Fi router, whatever those extenders are for the rooms in your house if you need to. Get a different service if yours sucks. I know some people live in rural areas and they have limited options. You can get hotspots. There's other things you can do. Do your research, make sure your internet is good. Okay. Yes, social media has turned us into squirrels, right? Like squirrels on big squirrel.
Yeah. Is there a way to know how long somebody's been on whatnot?
Um, Not that I know of. Some people will put it in their profile that they've been selling since, but yeah, there's not like a set way to know.
Yeah, is it good to have music in the background or not? I don't like it. And partly because of the filters that whatnot has that makes the music sound so horrible.
Yeah. If you don't have it really close, you can't even hear it anyway. And if you have it really close, then it's usually annoying. So I kind of lean towards I don't like music, but some people like music to help keep them motivated. So if you have music and you have it far enough away that other people can't hear it and you're just kind of bebopping to it, that's fine. So, just make sure it's not a distraction. So, and there are also copyright issues. Is it called copyright or not copyright? What's the word
Yeah.
for? You
Well,
can get called out if you're playing music and aren't paying the royalties. So you have to be
yeah.
careful
The
with that.
day will come where whatnot will send everybody out a message and say
Say you can't play
you can't
music.
play music
Yeah,
in the
because they
background.
get someone will sue them. Why would you want to know how long someone has been on whatnot? Yeah. Do you mean how long their show time or how long they've been selling? Oh, that's true. She might have been asking how long the show has been going. That's true. Um, let's see, but you have to have Bert to speak to when there's dead silence. That's not good either. Yeah. And it is hard when you sell by yourself. If you don't have someone with you, you've got to keep you've got to keep talking. That's when you take the opportunity to share some things about yourself, to thank people, to talk about ideas that you've had, things about the fabric. Try to keep talking always. Um, if you sell by yourself, and I know that's hard, you're
It,
gonna have to kind of train yourself.
so I'm gonna offend some people here, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Oh, okay. Thanks. I hope not.
No, I promise you, some people are gonna be offended by this.
Okay.
Kids, cats, and dogs and other pets are cute for about 5 seconds in your show. Some people have really well trained, cute puppies and stuff, and they can say, "Oh, come here, Skippy," and let everybody see you. And then you don't see or hear Skippy the whole rest of the show.
That's fine.
That's fine. But people who are constantly being interrupted by their chihuahuas barking because somebody walked down the sidewalk, or their kids are constantly interrupting mommy, or their cat is walking across the stuff you're going to buy.
Yeah.
If you can't plan to get those distractions out of your show, maybe whatnot's not the platform for you.
Or you've got to figure out a way to make it so that you have separate rooms, separate space, you're not going to have. I mean, everybody has life. You are going to get a
Yeah.
text, you are going to get a phone call, maybe your doorbell rings.
Your
There's things you
17-year-old
can't
daughter's gonna
control.
walk in on the show because the world revolves around her after all.
Well, yeah,
You know.
but
So yeah, you're gonna have those interruptions. And everybody watching Whatnot understands
right,
that.
but keep them to a minimum. Plan in a way that those things are not going to be an issue. So yeah. Have more adjectives than every single piece of fabric. Let's see, is beautiful. Also talking about that same fabric for 10 minutes before running it. Yeah. And that's one of my problems too, because sometimes I get too wordy and I have to go, okay, wait. But you can I agree. So every piece of fabric, oh, this is so beautiful. Oh, this is so beautiful. Well, maybe it's not that beautiful. Maybe it's the ugliest dang piece of fabric everybody's seen. Come up with other things to say about it, or say something else, right?
Wow, this is the ugliest damn piece of fabric I've ever seen. You probably want it.
Actually, there's a seller. Who is it that has the ugly fabric contest in her shows? It's so hilarious. They like vote on the piece that was the ugliest piece. I think that's great. She came up with that idea to kind of deflect and to be humorous about it. So yeah, is it Becca that does that? It's hilarious. I love that. So yeah, be creative. But here's a tip about selling. Another tip about selling. Always paint the big picture with whatever you're selling. Show people what you can make out of it. Show people pictures that other people have made stuff. Have people
Talk
make
about what you
stuff
would do with
and
it.
share their pictures. Talk about what you would do with it. Show the big picture because that will sell it better. So give ideas of what you could make with it. Give ideas of, why these colors go together. I don't know. I mean, come up with all the creative ways to share it better, and you're going to be able to sell it better. It annoys me, honestly, when I go into shows and people are selling fabric and they say nothing about the fabrics. They're just like, here, in fact, we have sellers that don't even tell you the brand. They don't tell you how it feels. I mean, you can do stuff how it feels, the quality, the brand, the colors. Use your color wheel, use white paper, do all the things that are going to really sell that fabric. So, yeah.
What about demonstrations? Great.
Demonstrations
Demonstrations
are
are awesome.
awesome. They aren't necessarily going to demonstration shows. You'll get a decent amount of viewers. They don't necessarily buy as much in those shows, but they can equate to future sales. And if you sell kits to make the stuff you're showing, you can actually do a really good show and sell quite a bit. So there are some very successful sellers who are showing how to make something and then selling the supplies to make it.
And there's a select few artisans out there who can create whatever they're selling right there in front of the camera. And they get huge audiences because people like to watch them create.
Yeah.
And then they can turn around and sell it. But you've got to be Bob Ross.
Well, you've got to be, yeah, you've got to really, have a good aesthetic about it and really, yeah, you've got to be able to
You
entertain.
got to be able to make happy little trees.
Yeah. So, okay. Oh, let me get back to my seller contributions here before we get too far on these other topics. Okay, this one came from our next seller is Country Roads with Michelle. She's adorable. So at Country Roads. And if I didn't include you in this reaching out, it was my criteria was you've sold at least 5,000 items. I tried to reach out to everyone I could find in fabric that has sold at least 5,000 items. So if you got a message from me and you didn't respond, that's okay. But if you did
Okay, we hate you.
respond, I shared it. So that was I don't know. And I didn't really reach out to sellers who sometimes sell in fabric, but also sell other categories mostly. I mostly just stuck with our fabric sellers. Okay. So Country Roads with Michelle is in the house. Adorable seller. And her contribution or her tip was, although most people know a thermal printer is so nice behind the scenes versus no thermal printer. Right? Everyone who has a thermal printer, it is a game changer. So if you don't have one yet, they really aren't that expensive. You just go onto Amazon and find the one that has the best reviews and is returnable and doesn't use proprietary labels.
Yes.
That's important. So make sure that it can use the generic labels that are the cheaper ones to buy in bulk, and that has good reviews, and that it says in the listing that you can return it if you get it and it doesn't work. All kinds of electronics nowadays, sadly, you can sometimes buy a brand new electronic, plug it in, and the dang thing doesn't work the first time you get it. It just happens. So make sure it's returnable. Um, so that was from Country Rose Michelle. And she also says a tape gun is necessary and speedier for boxes, and a lint roller is very helpful in our category. Yes, get yourself some good lint rollers. Costco, I don't know, every Costco carries different items, but our Costco has a big old pack of what was in there, like 8 or 12 of these big old wand lint rollers like this that you just tear, and look, mine is gross. I haven't filled the sheet. I use it a lot. I'm obsessive with lint rolling.
So we had another printer question. Again, when you're just starting out, don't buy anything if you've already got a printer.
Yeah.
Just wait till you get up to the point
Where you're like, okay, now
where
I
you
need.
the time savings.
Yeah. Or, well, I will caveat that with, if you want to hit the road running, meaning you have a goal to get from here to here within 6 months or whatever, get yourself a thermal printer.
Right.
Spend the money. It's going
But
to
you
be
are,
worth it.
but for the
But
printer and the labels and stuff, you are looking at a couple hundred to several $100s to get started. And for some people, several $100s is a big hit.
right,
So if you already have a printer, and we started out just using our
laser
our
printers
laser
that we
printer,
already owned.
and we cut the pieces of paper out and and tried to get the labels as small as we could and everything. And it took us a long time. Well, it took me a long
It took
time
him
to do the
longer.
shipping because I did the shipping and stuff while Dana managed the paperwork.
Yeah.
And but yeah,
It is a
it's a
game
game
changer.
changer.
So
Yeah.
Prism House Fabric says she's had 5 shows. Welcome to What Not Selling. And by show 3, she already bought one. She was like, bag this. I'm getting a thermal printer. And she's so glad. So there you go. Let's see. If you have a $500 budget for starting your business, get a printer. Yeah. Vintage didn't buy one until 1,000 sales, and she regrets that she waited. There you go. Let's see. I imagine Bert with 10-inch paper shears. Yeah. And let's see. You bought a thermal printer on Facebook Marketplace, so someone had a decent, nice thermal printer used. Yeah, look for opportunities like that to start out. All right. Next person who contributed. Sorry, this is kind of taking long because we're getting chatty, huh? All right, this one is from City Stash Fabrics. Speaking of shears, this is what she said, and I had to laugh.
Jane or George?
It was, I'm pretty sure it was Jean.
Okay.
So she just commented, everybody give her a follow if you're not following City Stash, Jean's Eye. And her contribution was this: my favorite tool is this heavy set of 10-inch shears to slice through the fabric like butter. And they're 10-inch, they're the ones with a knife blade, so they're sharpened on both sides. And they have a bent handle, so they are flat with the bent handle, so they're more ergonomic and they cut really good. So a good pair of scissors really does make a big difference.
Artist formerly known as Jean's. This is what it sounds like when doves cry. Oh, I hate that song.
Okay, so that was her contribution. Get a pair of good scissors, and she's going to have those exact ones. Do you have them in stock yet? Because she was telling me she ordered a bunch. They're in your marketplace tomorrow. I might come buy some because those looked good. I tried to find them online, that exact specification, and I couldn't find them. So I might have to come. Well, I'll come buy them. I'd rather buy them from you than somewhere else for sure. Okay, next person
You don't print slander while I'm here.
was So Happy Crafting, one of our OGs. All right, So Happy Crafting in the chat. Everybody tag her.
Field trip, do you have your raspberry beret on?
Oh, she's live right now, so she's not going to be able to come in. Okay, so her tip was, this is a good one, and it gives you some insight into someone um who just, I mean, she just goes, you guys. She goes and goes. She says, put a sticky note over whatever screen you're using to monitor your chat. Put a sticky note over the viewers, where it shows you how many viewers you have. Sticky note it and don't even look. And act like you have 1,000 people in the room. That tells you something about her, huh? She doesn't care. She's just going to be who she is, and she's going to sell. And it doesn't matter if there's 2 people in the room or 1,000 people in the room. It's a good tip. It will help you to develop the confidence you need to just keep going. So it's a good tip. Okay. So that was from So Happy Crafty. All right. And our next one is from, let's see, Fancy Fabrics. So let me tag him in chat. Fancy Fabrics. Here we go. So Fancy Fabrics has a really good tip. He said, numbers. His tip is numbers. I use a different color of sticker for each type of item. So if it's a fat quarter, it's blue sticker. If it's a half yard, it's a red sticker. If it's a white, a yard, etc. I have blank circles to write numbers if I have smaller quantities. If I have more than 100, I just add 1 to all the numbers on the next sheet, 2 to the numbers on the next, and so forth. It helps. This also helps make it super easy to pull orders for both you and anyone that helps, because everything's ordered by quantity and by size. So, and then he sent a little picture, just shows that he uses he orders these in bulk and numbers them. So it's the little round stickers. So the blue ones are numbered already. Those are for fat quarters. The red ones are for half yards, and so on.
When you
So
have
great
muscles
tip.
like these, Elizabeth.
You are so weird.
Hey, I'm just answering a question.
Okay. So there you go. So thank you so much from Fancy Fabrics for that. Okay, let me get my thing back up here. Hang on,
I'll tell you what's hurting, but I wouldn't stand and rub them in front of the camera.
oh my gosh. TMI. You guys, look what I have to live with. All right, next tip. Moving on. Fast. Let's move on. Okay, let's see. Now I lost my place. Okay, here we go. Wild Granny. Wild Granny's here. Say hi, Wild Granny. Her tip is, well, she says this, and this is important. She says, my selling area is small. And a lot of us have just a small area that we can use, right? Some people have a really small area. And she says, I use on my desk, a ring light and my phone. The biggest game changer for me was using numbers to keep track of sold items, and also She uses a laser printer for her packing slips. And she says, my space is small. I use a tall laundry hamper to hold the sold items until I ship. And then everything's just flat in there in order as she sells it. So there you go.
We've
So if you
done
have a small area, you just organize it to make it work for you. So figure out what's going to work.
and we do that in some shows too. Just depends upon the format of the show we decide.
Right.
And that's the beauty of Whatnot is you can decide what works for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be what other people do. You can come up with your own system. We kind of just invented our own system,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
works
And
for us.
I really need more space, but we just haven't quite figured out how to do it yet. So, I mean, the room that we're in that we have our shows in is, what do you think this room size is? About 12 by
About
10?
12 by 10, yeah.
12 by 10 room.
No, maybe 12 and a half inches.
Inches.
I'm kidding.
We're miniature
Why
sellers.
don't we do a day in
We
the
just
miniature
got
eight
a
times?
raid from What You Making. Thank you for the raid. What You Making is here in the house. Everybody give What You Making a follow and go bookmark shows. Thank you so much. All right. The next tip is from one of our all-time favorite for everybody. We just love her because she's so cute. And that is Lisa Works. Um, well, I think we're all Americans love British accents. We're in love with it, right? And so she's so fun. She's also live right now. So she's not coming in. All right. So she said, happy to share the biggest game changer for me was getting the thermal label printer, not just for my shipping labels, but she also uses it to create individual labels that she puts on fabrics, and the labels have her logo. She's an artist. She put her logo right on the labels. That's awesome. And then it says, it also shows where else they can find me. So she has her Instagram and other platforms she sells on right on all her labels. And so it saves her time and money and also gives her packaging a professional look and branding. And branding is important. Having something that is recognizable for people is important.
How did you get
How
that
did I
one?
get a whatnot t-shirt?
She's a big wig.
No, I'm not. Because I'm on the community support team. They send us gifts every once in a while for doing these shows, and they sent me a t-shirt.
They sent
So
me a Whatnot
I have
ashtray.
socks, I have a t-shirt, I have a hat. I never wear hats. Maybe I'll give the hat
Oh, we
away
got the
one of these
banner over
days.
there.
I have the banner. Yeah, the little whatnot banner that I have hanging up. See that little flag banner?
Dun dun dun.
So, they send us a little bit of everything. The earrings actually were made by a seller here, probably not legally licensed, but she made them with her 3D printer. Aren't they fun? And I've seen, if you've ever been in House of Coop's show, she has a pair that were crocheted that are little whatnot logos. Yeah. Let's see. How long do you have to be on whatnot before you can be considered for a community support? It's not really a consideration, it's an invitation. So you have to be invited by the community support team at whatnot. They look for sellers that they like their aesthetic, that do support shows, that are trusted sellers. They have to, obviously have good reviews and all
And you have to
that.
be in a niche that they're currently looking for at the time.
Yeah,
Um,
because they like to have a broad spectrum of sellers that are across all the different categories. So
if you're really good looking like me, it's piece of cake.
if you have a big head like him, maybe you'll get considered. Okay. Next tip is from Terry's D Stash. So
My gosh,
Terry's
how many
D
tips
Stash.
did you get?
Quite a few,
Are we
but
going to be here till
considering how
midnight?
many requests I sent out, I really didn't get all that many.
Okay, she
Terry's
qualifies.
D Stash.
That's right. If you sing, you got to get considered. Actually, I'm not on the
Did I
community
type it
thing.
right? No.
Just my trophy bride's on the community thing.
Someone tag her for me because I can't type today. Terry, T-E-R. How's it spelled? T-E-R-I. Oh, I put 2 R's. That's why.
You can type fine. You just can't spell.
Well, I can't see anymore. That's part of my problem.
Terry's G
Did you guys tag her?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, Terry's D stash is tagged. She says, I think my most useful organization tip is my label binder. I have a 3-ring binder with sheet protectors in it, and I have pre-printed address labels for each of the categories that I run. For example, fat quarters. So she's doing something similar to fancy fabrics, half yards, 1 yards, etc. Always having my labels pre-printed, prepared, and organized, as well as easily accessible, helps me run a fast, smooth show. I actually pre-label everything as well, so I'm not fiddling with that binder. But sometimes I run things I didn't plan to run, and it's nice to be able to just grab the label out of the binder. It's stacked, it's organized, and I keep my stacks organized for post show order prep. There we go.
Okay, next tip.
So Terry's D stash. Thank you so much for contributing. The next one is Twin Rivers Fabric and More. That's a long name. Let's see if I can pull it up. Twin Rivers Fabrics and More. It's unique enough, it popped up fast. Okay. So Twin Rivers said, my tip to share is fabric prep for cutting. Someone was asking about this. When you have any yardage over 2 yards, okay, this is a great tip. So you know your let me grab it so I can show you. Your 24-inch ruler, your wide one that you use to cut fabric with. Everyone has one, right? Mine's getting worn out. So your big 24-inch long ruler that you use to cut fabric. She takes this. Let me read what she said. To fold the fabric up so she takes the fabric and folds it around this, and this is 6 inches wide, so that after the show all I have to do is flip the fabric over and cut. She already knows because it's folded in 6-inch folds, right? And then she just flips it over to cut. It also allows me to check all my vintage fabric for any defects or fading prior to selling, so that I know I'm selling the best product, or she can point out the flaws. So and look at her nice stacks here. She sent me some pictures of how she has it all stacked.
That lady's got a lot of time on her hands.
Nice. Because she folded it all around that ruler, so it's all nice and uniform. I was like, that's a great tip. So that's the one she sent me. Okay. All right. Next tip came from, let's see, where did that one go? Next tip. Oh, she said one more thing. I have to read it. She said, oh, never mind. That was just her saying it was okay to share the pictures. Okay. This next person is a few little bumps.
I saw her in the show earlier.
I think she's here. Is she here? A few little bumps is here. She just rated. Oh, there you are. Just rated. Awesome. Thank you for the rate.
Stated. That wascoey wabbit just tweeted.
Everybody make sure you're following a few little bumps. Thank you so much for rating and coming in. And she said, the only thing that comes to mind is having systems set into place for things like the flow of your show, picking orders and packing shipments. If you do not have a set system and you're reinventing the wheel every time you do a show, it will slow you down. That is so true. You need to have, whatever it is, come up with a system of how you mark your orders, how you stack them, how you pile them, how you organize them so that when you go to ship at the end, it's all organized and it's not just a big pile of, because you're going to be spending hours going through that pile if it's not organized. We just got another raid. Did Lisa, we just shouted you out. Thank you for the raid. One of our besties here. She is adorable. Make sure you're following Lisa Works. And we already shared your tip. Thank you for contributing to this Backstage pass. Tips from all the sellers, production tips, things to do to make your shows better. All right, so a few little bumps. That's what she shared. I love that. Just reminding everybody, have a process. And it may take you time to figure out what process works best for you. It's okay. Be patient with yourself. Figure out what's going to work. And then, if it's not working well, change it up. That's the beauty. You can change it. Just change it. All right, our next seller is from Kimmeruski's in the house. Welcome in. All right, so this one is from Beth Ann. So I'm going to tag her here. So Beth Ann 1964. And there we go. All right, she's tagged. She says, I put all of my panels, meaning fabric panels, in the Buy It Now. They are easier to sell that way. And I put people's purchases in plastic totes to make shipping easier for me. So she uses a setup where she has totes that she puts each person's order in a tote. They're already separated by person. That's a system that we use as well. It's a little bit harder if you work by yourself, but we use the bin system. It's worked well for us. We keep using it. When we are done with the show, everybody's order is already in a bin with their name on it. And it's like we just go ship it. So, of course, we verify every once in a while. Bert screws something up. So, yeah, that's what we do. And yeah, I like that idea about panels. For her, now maybe this isn't true for you, but for her, she feels like the panels sell better in her Buy It Now. So she's done the research to go, okay, this isn't working for me. I'm going to try this. She puts them in the Buy It Now. They sell better that way. Everybody has different audience, different vibes, different people that come to your shows. Figure out what your people want. All right, next seller is, and this is the last one. The last one who sent me a tip was So Snappy. We all love So Snappy.
Snappy.
And she said, there we go. She said, a ring light and a phone stand are essential. A secondary device, I personally use 3. A label printer is a great upgrade for a seller that plans to ship a lot. And then good stickers to label the fabrics as you go. She usually works alone. So she's a rock star. I've watched her for a couple of years, and she can stay on track and keep things organized like nobody's business. So she has a process. She figured out what works for her, and she can do it. So have a process. And she mentioned some of the other stuff that we've already hit on. Thank you, So Snappy. Yeah, she owned a quilt shop, so she's very knowledgeable about all kinds of fabric. And the main thing that she was amazing at is she would do some of those shows where she would let people bundle. And I was like, she could keep track of it. And I'm like, I can't even do those shows. First of all, because he gets frustrated, but but I just was like all over the place. But she could keep track of it and get everybody's orders. And yeah, she was a rock star with that.
Yeah, I don't like bundles.
Oh yeah, if you get a number out of order, George gets so upset. Yeah, that's one of the downers to working with your partner, because your little your little flaws They definitely will point them out frequently for you, right? Yeah. Yeah, we have flaws. We're not flawless. All right. That was my last one. Thank you, everybody that shared. Appreciate you and all that you contribute to our community. Um, I'm going to be bold and say, honestly, I feel like our community on Whatnot is one of the very best. We have the most kind, most talented, sweetest people. And I go into some of the other categories and I'm like, what is this? Because I just don't even know. Because we are just so gracious and kind and wonderful. And we're an amazing community. You guys are just awesome. Awesome, awesome. And almost 4 years down the road, I can't even believe what we've built. I think about when we first started selling and what it was like on here, and it's just almost mind blowing to me that this is, where we've come. It's amazing. So, thank you to everybody who makes Whatnot amazing. It is life changing. Oh, thank you so much, Vintage Chick. That was very kind of you, very generous. I love you guys. I mean, this is just an amazing platform. And when I talk to people who don't know about Whatnot, it just comes through. I'm just like, this is an amazing, awesome place. And, you guys are just the bomb. So, anyone have anything they want to add, share? I hope you got some really good information. I hope you got some good tips. If you have a lot of questions that you need more details, make sure to come back to any of my walk and talks, and I'll try and hold your hand a little bit and help you as best as I can. Usually, the best things I can do is guide you to where you need to go to get that information. So yeah.
She'll be the
Let's
wind
see.
beneath
Are
your
you know
wings.
what? We decided not to. I looked at all of the stuff that's going to be there, and I just kind of felt like because we're so focused on fabric, I just didn't really feel like there was going to be a lot to offer. It looked like a lot of fun, but I decided no. But we are definitely going to be in Austin. So that'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited for that. Yeah, these I don't know the name of the seller. I bought these like 2 years ago, but she made them on her 3D printer. So they're one of my prized possessions, my Whatnot earrings. All right, you guys, I think we're going to wrap it up, and someone go tell me who
Yes.
we should raid into.
Yes, we're on YouTube.
Yes, we are live on YouTube. It will be saved. It'll probably go. Sometimes it's a 2 or 3 hour delay. Sometimes it's the next day, but it will be on there so you can rewatch the show. And yeah, Fabric Expo next week too. Oh, is there a Fabric Expo in Las Vegas? Oh, I didn't know about that one. That would be fun to go to. Um, Send me a link. I'll see. Maybe we will come to Vegas. I'll come for fabric. I just looked at the ASD and I was like, it was all this other stuff. And yeah, I just kind of was like, I don't know if I want to go all the way up there to walk around and look at fun stuff and be tempted to buy other things I don't really want. So yeah. Um, yeah. Let's say Taisha only has 2 people, maybe a new seller, go to a big beauty company to get more followers. But are they good followers? Who's the big beauty people that are on? I'll be at, oh, you're going to be at the fabric one? Oh, the home and is in Chicago. The fabric one's in Chicago, not in Las Vegas. Well, send me a link. I don't know if I want to go clear to Chicago, but oh, H&H is a fabric thing in May. Oh, okay. So Utah has a huge quilting show that we've been to a couple times. And I mean, it's one of the bigger ones. And it's usually in June. So we usually go to that one. House of Coop has over 400 people. Yeah. House of Coop is a good one to raid, and they sometimes have linens and stuff. Should we go raid House of Coop? That would be a fun raid. They'll shout us out. All right, let's do it. Let's go raid House of Coop. I love them. And if you aren't following them on Facebook, go follow them on Facebook. They give really, really good tips and good advice. I've learned a lot of things from them. So make sure you're following House of Coop. They are on the community support team. So, and they're going to speak at the summit in Austin. Let's go raid House of Coop. They're awesome sellers. Here we go.
The Utah.
Thanks, everybody.
It's called.
The one in Utah is just like the quilt. I think they just call it quilt show, like the Utah something quilt show. And it's in Sandy, Utah. All right, you guys, love you. Have a wonderful night. Have fun in House of Coop. Stay around for a minute. They always have awesome stuff. They watch them